Welcome. I am Crimey Queen, and if you are joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we are actualizing self-full love with the use of scriptural texts and seeing how they have impacted on our lives, how they have shaped us, what we need to take and what we need to leave behind. Okay, so we have done a series of presentations on Uranus and Taurus being so I'm not no astrologer at all, but because I am Taurus or Taurian, I had that interest, of course. And of course, it seems like intuitively that I was guided to watch this documentary on it that would see how it would affect me and how it affects us. Okay. Now, this is Mother Eve in case you are new to this channel, and this is our template that derives from the word sacrifice. We have been doing these presentations perhaps about, well, it was from March, and I haven't counted exactly how many months that is. Perhaps it's about 10 months or so. And well, it was not so difficult if I see how many months into the next March, into March. So then, yeah, 10 months is correct, of course, because I am a mathematician. Okay, right. We are looking at Genesis, and I will encourage you to have a look at my other videos that is on Uranus. Uranus, meaning Uranus is really running things for the next 7 years, we are told, and seeing how the synchronicities or the match or connection, how it has been really mirrored scripturally. Okay, and also the wonderful thing is that it also gives an insight about what is required of us, and I think I have been able to convey that in the presentations, particularly with Taurians and earth signs and water sign. That is my take on it. So as I say, I'm not an expert on the matter, but I do things intuitively, and that's what I do and how I go on with it. So I put it out there, and in any case, there is really no harm it can do, I don't think, at all at this stage. So we also have water and the word revelation that we work with. And in case you're new to this, so this template, as I say, derived from Easter time, from the word sacrifice. Again, that was done intuitively. So I will urge that you watch my templates to numerology, or actualizing self-love, so Crime a Queen, or watch something simpler. But there is an essence to this template, which is why I'm urging you to, because from here to the fourth point, this is where we do our jazz, where everything is everything, because Mother Eve has given us everything. And I was going through the scriptures and several places. Of course, she is the God said. She's the one who speaks in the Bible. She's the one who vocalizes the information. Basically, her word is her bond. And we have learned about in the beginning was the word, meaning this is why it's always said, do you keep your word? Because your word is supposed to have so much power. And so this is where it all derives from. Mother Eve. She's the one who said, let there be light. Okay. Now, of course, she wants us to really come to this knowing, to this knowing. There's the nose to tell us about knowing, knowing. It's like the nose is her, and she wants us to go into her, into the knowing. There's the city that Christ spoke about. This is the city up in the chamber, because of course the brain has four chambers, and they were talking about the upper chamber. The upper chamber would be perhaps where that little chamber is, where we are told that the pineal gland is like a grain of rice, It is amazing. I am when I look at a grain of rice and think that scientists can locate this thing in the brain and be able to say that it looks like a pine cone as well. I am really, really amazed, with the information that is available to us into knowing who we are. Now, this is why I am also passionate about bringing this knowledge to the fore as well. And we can see how those information that we get link and make sense. Really does make sense. Okay. So this is another form of a synaptic nerve or connection taking place. This is us rewiring ourselves. Oh, I like that. Okay. So this is the BKT, which this part of this template, I have been able to manipulate some letters and their position. That's according to the column, all in column. But when it came to this, after the N and the E, well, the central, because Mother Eve actually permitted me to do that. It seemed like she really opened my eye, of course, because I was willing to go into the know, get into the know. I was willing to do that. And so I had the power, we could say, to do that. And so instead of the E being hair and the N hair, I was able to change that around. And so we saw we have new. I also got to understand why we have news, because our news is our north, south, east, and west. And here it is, north, and the south would really be like the five, which means like it's like an S anyway. So this would be our north, our south, our east, and our west. That's what it's about. And this is why we also need to be mindful how much news are we taking in, that of course when we get a chance to go into this news, we have been too bombarded and too tired to be able to participate in this news. Although we now have that Sophia in the news as well, but will she really be? She is in the news, but I'm not so sure she's going to get into that news. We need to be mindful. In fact, I was watching is he Dr. Bruce Lipton, I think, and I got to understand through watching this. There was another thing about 23 in that documentary, which I've got to watch again, but there was something about 23,000, perhaps our thought go around 23,000 times faster than light, something like that. Um, okay, but I have noticed that the number 23 has been coming up. There is something about the number 23, but um, Sophia the robot is 32, like the number of Christ. Now, of course, that makes sense because in the West, we are all about Christ, which is 32, and now they have brought Sophia in to replace Christ. Now, isn't that whatever? It's that. It is that. THAT. That in that is the incubation of shaping anything that anyone wants to do. This number 13. Okay. Um, so it could have been done well, number 23 is very profound as well. Very, very profound. In fact, it is said that Alistair Crowley, I think his name, that he was very serious or very religious about the number 23. So basically, when we are here in that new state, it you are given the choice of how you are using this hair. Um, I believe, although I haven't, I'm just looking at one way, but of course, I have said that, and now I am looking like in my peripheral vision, it's like Mother Eve is saying that's exactly what has happened. People have gone into this state, into this way, and because when you are here, you are able to see on either sides, you are able to choose. That's what happens. That's what happens. But she yet calls us, beckons us to be able to give us that choice to really make or an informed decision or informed choice. Now, that's what mothers do. And even if it hurts them to see us go the imbalanced way, we could say, but now she calls us back, she calls us home. Okay, so I want to also conclude on this or just elaborate a bit on Sophia because I think I just want to conclude and not perhaps have too much more to say on that. But there's the thing, there's two things with Sophia because I had done a presentation and I also noticed that the name Sophia spelled differently. Okay, I have done this. I can take this off. This was another. This is to show that Mother Eve is also time, space, and matter. This is the Trinity, the Trinity. I should remember to really call it that. Time, space, and matter. Okay. So Sophia, Sophia, is 19661. So we can see in both, so there's the pH, right? So they hadn't chosen this name, which actually has the same 5 vibration and also has one on either side, which locks the word in. So this would be 15, this would be 20, 21. So there would be a 3 here and 1 plus 1. So this is 5. They hadn't chosen that. They have chosen something more robust with a 9 here, an 8 here, and a 6 here. And I will show you why this has been chosen as well. Now, bear in mind, I am looking at this P here. I am looking at P here. And before I move on. So this comes to 32. We have done this before. Now, we want to see how 6, 7, 8, 9 plays out on our template because my template now, I believe, offers solutions as much as it shows what is, it offers solutions and tells what has been happening. So when we are in Christ, basically, they have designed Sophia to tap into the 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the area, this is the area when devising this template, I had no input of arranging the numbers or the letters. Here I manipulated and bucket as well because here it was untouchable as well. And of course, I was about to say I'm surprised that I hadn't seen the number 2 reflects in there. But of course, the other numbers, like 6, for instance, would be divisible by 2, so it already has connected. 8 as well also reflects 2. And so 1, of course, goes into all of these numbers. So when you are in Sophia, if that's what you choose. So we need to be really mindful. Now it's not about so much Satan people are talking about. They need to be mindful. It's Sophia. Okay. Sophia has not only the other thing that is very important to remember. We had this notion. I don't know. I think most people had this notion that Satan in the scriptures was, of course, is the serpent who comes like a male figure. But the serpent in the Bible is really Mother Eve. Mother Eve is the serpent in the Bible. Mother Eve is the number 5 hair. But as in the word serpent, she also comes as the number 7. Now we will see how that works out. So she is 5 as Eve, and she's also 11 because 6 hair and 5 hair equals 11. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 is present. Present, when someone gives you a present, it is present. When you are present, you are there. Meaning, it's really saying you are there, you are present. And that's what it was. When we are talking, people are teaching about being present. Mother Eve was present. The story, even in the story that we're given, which of course here is another part to this, because I believe that we could say that other Eve was another Eve, or Eve's daughter, whatever. Eve is evening. Eve is that which comes to even a situation. You even something out, you even out an argument. That is it. Even. And so it is not there is not a mountain, there is not an obstacle anymore. So hence that Eve had that power and ability to transform herself. She was present. So the serpent has been used, of course, so we become scared to being present, present to igniting the pineal gland. Okay. So here we have this new, and as it is here, we have when. We also have the word men, men, when we look at it in this way. So going back to the the numbers for Sophia, we see 1. Now, of course, she has been given the S for for the serpent. It's like she is present. That one, she is the one. Just like in the Matrix where it is said to, I don't remember his name, you are the one, but here they are saying to Sophia, you are the one, you are the one. So 1, and then we have this 6, 7, 8, 9, and goes back to 1 where she is locked in. She has been locked in now, fully charged. Okay. Now, just to give you an insight of what this template is about as well. So this we go through this development. We see, of course, it's based on the sacrifice template, and this is really reminding us about Christ, who also is on this direct correlation now with Sophia we are talking about. 32, the number 32, 3 plus 2 gives us 5. This is where the bucket and basket of bread and wine and stuff was used on when Christ was teaching the disciples. The disciples, including the multitude of people, and miracles were happening. Of course, there was fish and bread and all of those things. So whether it was in the wedding and so on. These 3 here, we have seen that 3 is a magical number. I am discovering the extent of it as I go along. I'm sure there is so much more to it, but there it is where we are lucky, because 3 is considered lucky, and I can understand that too. Of course, some of us go on about thinking, oh, I'm not lucky, because we are talking, we are speaking, the sound vibration that travels so far much faster than light. So, of course, the four-chamber brain that we have, also the four-chamber heart registers those things, and they work in sync to bring to us that which we have spoken as truth. Then we have development, DVM. So these are things that was, so for instance, the M and the V, I think had changed position at that point here as well. So of course, when I was doing this intuitively, there was something, and I have it recorded as I'm doing this now, and I'm thinking, well, something tells me not to go any further. I shouldn't be interfering with that side. So my early presentations where you might see a line going like here on the forks, and the other thing that was very crucial about that, I think I counted that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 letters. It was 15 letters that were untouchable. What have we got here? The values here is 3 fives of 15. Here, this 3 fives, 15. So we had this 15 here, and it's like Mother Eve is saying, now let me just ensure, yeah. Mother Eve is saying, be wise as a fox. Don't touch anything else around here. And that's exactly what I did. I did not touch any of these position, like changing their position here, like having the P here, or so I thought, okay, this is Gypsy Journey, headquarters zone, and inland revenue. Inland revenue just came, and those things just flew. So some of these things, like I say, the bucket, the luck, development, new, Fox, Gypsy Journey, headquarters zone, inland revenue, it all made sense. So these were things I was just flowing with. And I'm really wanting people to understand. And if you're wondering about the square here, this is 7. But of course, we see how so you can change the L here, like the L, the 7, and it's really like 7 upside down to form the whole. So I was really showing how there are two sevens. This is where we first saw like two gods in Genesis. But now, of course, I have discovered they are in, perhaps we could say, 7 positive and 7 negative, that they have become 14. So this is all here. Okay. And I haven't gone to seeing exactly how it is, but we also understand everything has positive and negative, so it would be fair to say that this eye here, and another thing with the eye, these symbols are telling us to open our eyes on both sides. That's what I believe is happening right there. So basically, we see how Sophia, the other point I really want to show her is that there seemed to be something so far, something very deep about this hair. When we add these numbers, we have seen it comes to 32, why she is 32, but we also see if we add 6, 7, 8, 9, um, that would be 8 and 8, 16, 1, 17, and 7 would be 24, and 6 would be 30. Now, of course, we see there is also 1 behind this, it would be 31. The 31, of course, is another number that is very, so we see 30, first of all, is instrumental, that 3 vibration. So basically in the middle here, the middle of Sophia, the numbers in the middle, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here we would have, this would be 21, and 9 is 30. So we have 30, the 3 is right here. And it does mean, isn't it ironic? that when we add these four numbers together, we still get in the middle, which is 30, it matches that 3 right here. So wouldn't you really want to know why exactly it is done this way and not that way? Let me show you. Now I want to be fair in this here, but I had plucked the courage to show this that I had come to understand. So of course our world had been in division about colors, mainly black and white. And there had been a lot going on about, of course, um, black, black supremacy, black on black, but black. Let's just say black. Now we have in the middle of black, we are looking at middle as we did with Sophia, which is 3. Then we see 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1, 7. So there is a 7 here in the middle here. Okay, 3 sevens are 21. That's the vibration that makes things grow and propel. 3 sevens, 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. So we see how 3 comes out and shows itself here. Also, when we do the numerical value for the word 7, let me just do this quickly, is 5, 5. I'm happy to see all the fives there for the 7, to be very honest, and 1. So this is 5, this is 10, 15, it's 20. So it's 2. So 2 we have seen is very powerful. Okay, which also means we are talking about 2 sevens. We also see the word lack. Of course, we have been given the spirit of sound mind. So when we are writing and speaking black, which has lack in the middle of it, of course, this is denoting the black, the mother, um, the mother god, the goddess who births, she births, of course. This is the one, the spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. And so the deep, of course, when it was said, when Eve said, let the waters bring forth abundant creatures after its kind. Of course, so it is emptying its womb. Right here, this is the lack, of course, and it is also lack. Then we have the B. We know about the B. B is 13. We see the B here. This is 13. So basically, there is a power in the black that we need to be mindful of. But there is another thing. As I say, this is also, the 13 also equals when he created man. So there is the B here, but there is a he that equals 13 because this is 8. Although Mother Eve has shown us how to be able to tap into 8, but and 5, let's do this. 8 plus 5 is 13. Now, this is the 13 with Christ and the disciples. But Christ had to die, of course, to be able to be able to come back again, if we learn it this way, to be able to really represent the other part of the, not 13 now, that would be 14. So Christ had 12 disciples. He died and rose again. And he is seen as God, if you like. He is seen as the eternal one. That makes him 14 in that sense, which he is really representing Mother Eve at that stage. So another thing that is necessary is that the S here is the snake is missing here. This is the S that is missing here because she is really 14. That's Mother God. That is the said God. Mother Eve. Eve is 14. So the S, when she's not doing her snake-like thing, when she's absent, which she was in part of what was created, which I have to go into, because when she said, "Let us make man in our image and likeness, after our kind, after our image and likeness." Okay, let's put it this way. Then we read on, God God made, meaning that's the maker now, that's the maker. God made man in his own image and likeness. And then it is said, and created him, him, them, and there were 5 entries there, male and female. So we see that this is another thing that we need to pay attention to. Let's stick on to why I want to show you the numbers as well. So this is 2, 3, 1, let's say 1, 3, 2. I have done this, so this is 5 and this is 5, and we see how in black how 32 plus 23 is recorded here. And not only that, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, 5 letters, but there is an important letter in the middle here, the letter A. We see people are using it around and not understanding what is going on. This letter A is the letter that is in the middle of the word earth. E, in the middle of the word heart, sorry. Heart. So I just showed you how the he came about, but there's the A. There's the power in the middle. So when we are operating from the middle, from the core of our being, we are tapping really into the darkness. Hence, a lot of people would see it as occult, black magic, and all those kind of things. And also, the word black in itself is seen something to be fearful of, which have put black people in a situation of being scared of their own selves, in actual fact, because they themselves don't really want to hear about or being referred to as black magic. That's another story. So there is a disassociation with self. There we have the one hair. Now, Sophia has her ones on the sides. But if we learn to tap into that one hair, this is where we gain our strength. Okay. Now, going back to this other thing that I really want to show is the word white. I am just showing this. I am not, and I am very mindful that the teachings that I put out there is not about creating arguments or really to be in tension. But this particular thing that I am exploring here was something that I actually struggled with for a while because it did touch me very deeply, and I am now thankful that I'm able to come to this stage with it. So this is the second presentation I'm doing. I'm touching on this. So in the middle of this word white is heat. And then we have in the middle, now that's another powerful thing too. In the middle of the heat is the letter I. Now, I too is very, very powerful. The I is powerful because when we use the word I, we intuitively associate it with insight. we've been the ability to see. So the I here is very powerful, right here in the middle, in the middle. Now, we also have another very powerful word here, which is 5. This is where Mother Eve comes, is portrayed here. Mother Eve is portrayed on both ends, directly on both ends, not like needing any other thing to attach to directly, because E, as I say, and W is there, directly on our template. This is so crucial for us to pay attention to. Then we have the number 8 right here. Then we have 9, and then we have 2. Of course, 2 is that number that is necessary, very necessary, to tap into the template of the bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Because if, according to Emmett Fox, if you do not have something like its kind on which you can attach itself to, you cannot have a relationship with it. So when we look at our template, when we look at the template here, for instance, we have 8. I'm trying to see how I can do this. Okay, all right. Okay, let's improvise. Okay, so the number 2, this is where harmony, agreements, relationships, marriage, this is what we're talking about with Sophia as well, because the two ends of her wands create 2 as well. 1 1 is 2, or however, but it bonds because we have the 1 is reflected there. 2 ones are 2. It's right here. So we need to understand the thinking that goes behind whatever is happening so we can understand who we are in numerology. Numerology is offering us that insight into understanding who we are. So basically, we see the B here as in black. This is where I was very, very much challenged. I was very challenged with this. So with the be here, where it is bonded, this is where Christ made agreement with his disciples. This is where you and I agree to, I agree to have these presentations and you agree to watch them. And so there is something happening with them. There is unity. This is where you say yes and no. I think that yes and no perhaps really have the same value. No is 11, and yes, so 11 is 2. And yes, yes, is 7 and 12, and 1 is 13. So 13 comes here. Yes is where that bond is formed. So whenever you get under the 2 column, you are saying yes, even though it's two ones, 2 ones are 2. But as soon as you get there, you are forming that relationship. And we see on the 2 ends of the word black is really, hence, no wonder it is said, let there be light. We are talking about light is also 2, 11. But it's not what it is, it's how it is being used. So that's what has happened. With the B, have been, I call the B the incubator. Of course, because incubator has a B in it as well. It's the incubator right here. And there's a key to the incubator. It is nailed, it is tapped. There is another thing there as well. And we have to explore these even further with the T. All right. So we have seen that's one point I really wanted to show. And of course, as I say, the 6, 7, 8, and 9. We see those numbers, of course, 9, how they have been used instrumentally. Instrumentally, because what happens is when we are connecting with the numbers are vibrations. They are vibrations. So there you are connecting with and of course in our world, in the this three-dimensional world, we are also learning that okay, if you have 7, it is greater than if you have 1, or 8, it is greater than if you have 7, 9, it is greater than if you have. And basically our minds ha- have been programmed to see this as what people are likely to rush to, whereas in actual fact, you see the 5 is missing here. The 5 is the balance is in that which is necessary for us. So it's not to say that we are or black are imprisoned here either. You can learn to use what you have, because now you know that when you see 3 and 2, it's 23, and you also have 2 and 3 here. You are actually in that mirror state. You are also in a position to see your left and your right when you are here, because there is an A, which also is like the all-seeing eye in itself. So we can actually position ourselves there as well. Now, I'm going to stress that this, how I see black and white, is like function. It is something that we have had to grow um, to understand that colors are functions. Now, there is also another color, because black and white, maybe we don't call them colors, because all colors come from black, of course. But yellow also equals 11. Now, when I see basically these are the 3 colors, I'm going to just say this and just go along with it. These are the 3 colors that have been used to enslave others. And now I'm not going about just slavery anymore, because we all are enslaved in some way or another. It's not about color anymore, but I'm making this observation to show the derivative of what has happened, and it has a pattern, it has its seed. It has its seed right there. So there we have seen how let's take off Uranus and Uranus. Okay, so we have yellow, which is 7, 5, 3, 3, okay, and 6 and 5. So there we see that 5 has a connection, it has a relationship with this 5 here. It also has another relationship with this 5 here. So that which has light, that gives life, has its direct connection with the W here. It has its direct connection here. Not on this point here, unless there's an addition going on. Now, although both of these in essence are 5 letters here and 5 letters here, then we see the middle of this one here, which is I, 9, and 1, that would be 10. So it is showing that both of those are necessary for a function to have what is called perfect. 9 is really the eye that births. Now we can see it births. It is always looking for it's always on movement. It births. That's the birth. So it is now in the middle, and of course it is beginning here, which has the end. Mother Eve is present there as well, but Mother Eve is in the middle of 9 as well, which is the template. We need to remember that. So Mother Eve's eye is always here, is also here. She's not absent from this at all. In fact, she lent her eye, gave the eye, because she's the one who says, "Let there be light." And so she pushes the light out. I'm beginning to wonder about Mother Eve. So she says, "Let there be light." And there was light. Okay, so we see how 5 comes here. We have spoken about that. We see, of course, in the yellow, Mother Eve is there as well in that E. So there are for hair, which matches. The Y is 7. So it's really like saying that is 1 7, because remember, we need to remember there are 14 gods or 7. So there is the soaring, and then we could say that this is really portraying the whole hair, which would be 5 and 5 10, and 9 19, and 1 20. That would be 22, which is where that reflects Uranus that I have just taken off, or 22, the vibration that we are expecting to really um, be active for the next 7 years. This is what we are talking about. Now, the 7 here, let's add this up. So this is, we said this is already 22, and 2 would be, and 7 would be 29. So 2 plus 9 is 11. We see how this, but this holds, and this holds not 5 letters, but 6 letters. 6 letters, that 6 coincides with Mother Eve. So there we have each of these twos here. This is very, very important that we pay attention to this, because while I am talking, things are becoming very clear of how people have used this Bible with the very verses that we have been taught as gospel to manipulate and to enslave and to entrap other people. Now, there we would have 2 here, which is 11. So there's 11 here. We would have 11 here. We have 11 here. When we add 5 plus 5 and 1, 11. There's an 11 here. And of course, for white, we haven't added this yet. So it's 5 plus 5, 10, and 11 would be 21, and 8 would be 29. So 29 is going in direct numerical value with yellow. That's the light. That's the light that is being used. 11, which is 2. So that 2 is really what had been used, because it has the 5 vibrations, 2 of the 5 vibrations matching in direct position as the white hair. It matches here. All these are matching here. And the other thing is to pay attention to is that the 7, of course, 7 is, which is considered the sacred number, is really again, we could say it's Mother Eve, because we have added 5 for Eve, and of course we have added 6 plus 5 on the scale, in the central scale of the new um, dimension, which is also which is 11. So 5 plus 2, or 5 plus 11, gives us 5 plus 11 gives us 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. So this Y here It's like, again, we have been given the spirit of sound mind. It's like, why when we see this, why an elo, the L or yell. So now, when we look at it, those who have been enslaved with having lack of whatever has been happening, being hit from here, there's hit, because every time you write this, you are writing hit as well. Hit. Now, whether that's physical or mental, you have been hit. You are hitting or hit. There is an active word of hit right here and another word of lack. And of course, the two together brings one to yell. Y-E-L-L. Of course, as I say, we need to pay attention to the spirit of sound mind, and that is scriptural. Mother Eve in the said, where it is said, because she is the said God, she said to Job, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but I think it was uh, trying to remember where now, but it's that I have not given you the spirit of fear, but I have given you the spirit of sound mind. Now, mind is also 22. So this is the 22, the two twos that have been in battle. So I am hoping that you can see what has been created here. As I say, when you look at this fight that we all know in the world, the fight that has been going on, of course we see how powerful 2 is when we look at the B. But when you are in bondage, which is the B, when you are bonded, it's not 13 anymore. When you are there, you are in the B. Your hands, you are dying like the bees for the queen bee. And that's what happened here. And that's what is happening in the world. And I'm not just talking about race here now or nations. I'm talking about people. It's just mixed up now. And Mother Eve is crying out now. Mother Eve is crying out now. So now we have to really examine this one here, this which is the snake. We need to adopt a, a degree of intelligence somehow to be able to see whether it's knowing that we have the one when we be the 13 or one here. Try and get that vibration, not try, because it is there in the B. Now, I would urge as well that you watch my videos on the beehive or honeybee. Then we will be able to understand how to capitalize on this 13. We will be able to understand, because what it is important that you have your intention set, because this is going to be the incubator, because you also have a 3 here. Having said that, you need to break that bond so that yellow, that light can come in. It was through there, that light, the yellow hair, the W. This is the W. We have the W this way. We see the W is upright this way. So the 3 here, it needs to have an understanding that it can be a W, unity. It can be an M for mother. It is the 3, it is the E. It needs to understand that to be able to get to the light when necessary. When necessary. Okay, I hope you have found this. This is I hope you have found this insightful. And I am grateful and thankful that I'm able to eventually come out with this, because it had been something that I had kept on the back burner, so to speak. It had really touched me when I saw it seemed like the formula, it is a formula that had been used to enslave people. Now, I don't know if I have done it enough justice to show how it is done. I don't, and that's why I'm urging that you watch my other videos on honeybee. And also there are other videos of myself where my necklace broke, because this is when I first saw the magnitude um, of this realization. And I'm also wanting to show that there are ways we can really, it feels like I need to do another presentation on this, because we have the T in the second where the bucket is, and this is the only number from the new column. Here we have 5, 8, 9. Then we have 2 and we have 5. We don't have the 5 in here. We have it at the end, because it's at the end you can hook. The ends are served as hooks, of course. And with the number 2 looking like the 5, they are able to hook each other. That's what's happening. And so the 2 in the word white is able to connect here. It can connect on any point of this here. It's the 2, because this is the column here, and 2 is like a hook. So it can hook this. If you look at this, it's like a table as well. So it can hook at any angle. So we need to pay attention. And this is where we have the story, I will make you fishers of men if you follow me. So this was part of the story where people have used those words. They have used those words to fish, and in actually in French, I think it's also the same in French, but in Patois, where I come from, in St. Lucia, where I come from, when I say I come from, my parents, I'm born in London, my parents, but I grew up on the island. I grew up there, so I know the language. I know the Creole, the Patois. I know it, and in that language, we call lac fish. It is the tiny fish that we call lac. So in the word black here, we use the word lac when one goes fishing. So it is really the word it has been so embedded for so long within us. It goes through generations to generations, and we happily use it whichever way. And I'm not saying not to use it, but be mindful when we know what it is, we then will know how to use it. Equally, like I saw that the Bible had taught me to a certain point, and it got to the stage where it seemed like no, something's not making sense anymore. Now I am able to delve in and come up and find out this wisdom from it. It's from the Bible. The Bible. So it is very important that we learn how to master these. Here we have another 8 here, which equals I. The word I equals 8. So there are eyes here, which in black, of course, there are no eyes there. It's no wonder it is said the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. But Mother Eve knew that she has light. That's why she says, let there be light. It's not because she's in the dark that she has no lights. It's like a wife being in the bedroom and her husband comes in late at night and she says, "Let there be light." She knows this, there is a supply of light. She knows that. So thank you for watching. I hope you have found this very well. I hope you have found it insightful. And basically, as I say, I may have to do another presentation on this. And of course, it is about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm doing this. I have just been going on because I need it. There's the earnest to get this out of my system, and I think thanking Mother Eve in that sense. When I say Mother Eve, it's the spirit of that Kundalini rise that dwells in all of us. And when we activate that, you can call it whatever you want, but it actually equals 5, and Kundalini equals 5. Pineal gland equals 5. So there we go. Thank you.